Picture someone who has everything society tells us we should want. They went to the best schools, landed the prestigious career, married well, live in a beautiful home. Yet deep inside, they feel something is fundamentally missing. Have you ever wondered why this happens?
I've seen this so many times. People who look like they have it all together, but you can sense the emptiness behind their eyes. Is it just that they're ungrateful, or is something deeper going on?
It's much deeper than gratitude. These individuals have spent their entire lives checking boxes that weren't truly theirs to begin with. They've been living according to a script written by their family, their society, their culture, but never by their own soul. The momentum of external expectations has been so strong for so long that they've completely lost touch with who they actually are.
So they're basically living someone else's dream while their own inner voice gets completely drowned out?
Exactly. And here's what makes it so painful. They can't even articulate what's wrong because they've never been taught to connect with their inner self. So they blame external factors. They buy expensive things, take luxurious trips, change relationships, thinking something outside will fill the void. But nothing works because the disconnection is internal.
This sounds like a trap that's incredibly difficult to escape. How does someone build so much momentum in the wrong direction without realizing it?
Think of it like a train traveling at 300 miles per hour. Every day, every decision aligned with external expectations adds speed to that train. Wake up, follow the routine, meet the standards, receive the approval. Year after year, the momentum builds. The person becomes so identified with this external version of success that they don't even recognize it's not authentically theirs.
And I imagine trying to stop that train suddenly would be catastrophic?
Absolutely. You cannot instantly reverse years or decades of momentum without massive resistance and disruption. This is why so many people stay stuck. The fear of dismantling what they've built, even if it's making them miserable, feels more terrifying than continuing on the wrong path. The known misery becomes preferable to the unknown authenticity.
So what's the alternative? How do you slow down a train moving that fast?
Gradually, moment by moment, day by day. You begin by creating small spaces of stillness where you can actually hear yourself again. You start questioning which boxes you're checking because you genuinely want to versus which ones you're checking out of programming. The key is reducing the momentum of disconnection while simultaneously building new momentum toward your true self.
You mentioned stillness and silence, but for someone caught in this cycle, their entire life is probably filled with noise and distraction. How do they even begin?
That's the crucial first step, learning to silence the external noise that has shaped their perceptions. This noise comes from family expectations, societal standards, workplace demands, even friend groups. All of it creates a constant static that drowns out their inner voice. When you begin to set this noise aside, you create space to quiet your mind.
What happens in that quiet space? Is it just emptiness?
Far from it. In that stillness, you can finally observe the thoughts flowing through you without being controlled by them. More importantly, you can begin to pay attention to what genuinely makes you feel whole, what resonates deeply within you, what sparks a sense of purpose or joy that isn't dependent on external validation. These are the clues to your inner power.
So the emotions themselves become guides? How we feel about something reveals whether it's authentically ours.
Precisely. Anxiety, anger, frustration, sadness, depression. These are powerful signals of disconnection from your inner power. Happiness, fulfillment, wholeness, joy. These indicate alignment with your true being. The key is that these feelings arise naturally, not from external substances or circumstances, but from genuine connection with yourself.
It sounds like people can become addicted to living for external approval, almost like a substance addiction?
That's an excellent parallel. Consider alcohol addiction as an example. In many cultures, drinking is so normalized and embedded in social life that people don't even recognize when it's become a problem. The momentum builds gradually. Peer pressure, social expectations, family patterns. Before they know it, they're trapped in a cycle that feels impossible to break.
And the same mechanism applies to living for external validation?
Absolutely. The person becomes addicted to The approval, the praise, the sense of meeting standards. They might excel at work, receive accolades, look successful on the outside, but they're completely disconnected from their authentic self. The addiction isn't to a substance, it's to a false version of themselves that exists only to satisfy others.
What breaks that cycle? With alcohol, people often hit rock bottom. Do people need a crisis to wake up from this kind of disconnection?
Sometimes a crisis does trigger the awakening, a health scare, a relationship collapse, a profound loss. But it doesn't have to be that way. The alternative is awareness. When you begin to recognize the pattern, acknowledge the disconnection, and commit to gradual change, you can shift direction before hitting rock bottom. It requires courage to look honestly at your life and admit that what looks perfect on the outside feels empty on the inside.
So once someone recognizes they're living inauthentically, how do they actually start building momentum in the right direction?
It starts with positive habits that reconnect you with your true self. These aren't grand gestures, they're small, consistent actions, waking up with intention rather than obligation. Reading books that expand your self-awareness, tracking what genuinely brings you joy versus what brings you approval. Exercising not for appearance, but for the energy and clarity it creates.
These sound deceptively simple. What makes them so powerful?
Because they shift your focus inward rather than outward. When you nurture healthy habits consistently, three things happen simultaneously. Your physical health improves, your mind becomes clearer, and your emotional state elevates. These three aspects are deeply interconnected. When they work in harmony, through positive actions and feelings, you unlock a deeper connection with your essence, the core of who you are.
And this creates its own momentum?
Exactly. Just as negative patterns build momentum, so do positive ones. Each day, you prioritize what aligns with your inner truth. You generate forward motion. Over time, your authentic personality begins to flourish and become more visible. You start attracting opportunities, relationships, and circumstances that resonate with who you truly are, rather than who you've been pretending to be.
This raises a bigger question. Why does reality work this way? Is this all by design?
At the foundation of everything is this truth. Nothing in this universe happens by chance. Just as the law of gravity governs the physical world, there are universal principles that govern our thoughts, emotions, and actions. The law of vibration states that everything is energy, vibrating at its own frequency. Your thoughts, emotions, and habits determine your vibration.
So when people talk about raising your vibration, or high frequency, this is what they're referring to?
Yes, though those terms have been diluted by social media. The deeper truth is that positive thoughts, emotions, and habits raise your vibration, aligning you with frequencies of abundance, joy, and harmony. This alignment creates momentum that naturally attracts opportunities and circumstances that match your elevated state. Conversely, negative patterns lower your vibration, creating cycles of disconnection and difficulty.
And these laws operate whether we're aware of them or not?
Exactly. This is both sobering and empowering. Ignoring these laws doesn't exempt you from their influence. It only leaves you living reactively, without the clarity or intention to shape your reality. But by acknowledging and working with these principles, you gain the ability to transform your life in meaningful ways. You move from being at the mercy of circumstances to being the conscious creator of your experience.
For someone listening who recognizes themselves in this description, the successful exterior, the empty interior, what's the very first step they should take?
The first step is honest self-assessment without judgment. Ask yourself, which aspects of my life did I choose because they genuinely resonate with me? And which did I choose to meet someone else's expectations? Where do I feel alive versus where do I feel like I'm performing? This requires courage because the answers might be uncomfortable.
And then what? Once they've identified the disconnection?
Then you begin the practice of creating stillness. Even 5 minutes a day of sitting quietly, observing your thoughts without judgment, can start to shift the momentum. In that stillness, ask yourself what you genuinely want, not what you should want. Listen for the quiet voice beneath all the programming. It's been there all along, just drowned out by the noise.
This sounds like it could take a long time. How do people maintain patience with the process?
By remembering this, you weren't meant to merely survive, you were meant to thrive. Every small step toward authenticity, every moment of genuine connection with yourself, is moving you closer to the life you were designed for. The journey isn't about reaching some perfect destination. It's about the daily practice of alignment, of choosing yourself over others' expectations, of building a life that feels true from the inside out.
And that inner alignment eventually becomes visible on the outside?
Yes, when you consistently honor your authentic self, it radiates outward. You become magnetic not because you're trying to attract anything, but because you're vibrating at the frequency of your truth. People, opportunities, and experiences that match that frequency naturally flow toward you. The emptiness transforms into fulfillment, not because your circumstances are perfect, but because you're finally living in harmony with who you truly are.